There's just 1 minute to showtime.
The engines are on.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
When they wrote up the systems and the rule set that we use, did working people get to write a line? What class of men on pen and paper jotted down their clues? With capital the heart of their design. When 90 million want a thing, but some shareholders say no, which class of people get to have their way? The people read the fine print, say that this thing has got to go, and we'll start writing a new contract here today. Don't you know that hundreds will work and one man keeps the money? They don't think they gotta tell us why. When they say the new social contract, all the bosses will be gobsmacked and everyone will want a sign. Oh, yeah, everyone will want a sign.
Okay. Hello, cousins. Thank you for joining us on What in the Fresh Hell with Nicolette and Jared.
What is going on, everybody?
Yeah, it's not called that. It's called Social Contract. But that's just what it feels like every week. It feels like, what do we have to address this week? If you enjoyed our fantastic theme song, you have our very own Mr. Mayor Jared to thank for that one. And you can pick up his music that sounds like that and other things. Anywhere that music is done. So remember you got to support indie artists out there. So we are glad to have him back this week. He has been abroad and that in this last trip in Germany, entertaining the troops, otherwise known as paying customers. And then next month, we're super excited about this. Our world traveler is going to travel the world some more, and he's going to Russia for the first time. So if you have any thoughts about what's going on in Russia, he's gonna go there and think them.
I have no idea how much. That's the thing. I'm gonna try really hard not to be the one to bring up any politics while we're hanging out, because I want to bring everybody down. And,
right.
But I am gonna see, like, I haven't been nervous for a trip in a while, and it's not nervous so much as to where I'm going, but this is gonna be the least convenient trip I've done in a while. Like, when I go to China, yes, you have to download some apps, but as long as you, like, ahead of time figure out what you need and connect your frickin' credit card to the thing and you scan the QR code, like, it's relatively simple. Russia, because of the sanctions. Is extremely inconvenient to go to. So there's a lot of potential for, like, getting stranded with little with little ability to figure out my shit. I do live in an age of, like, Wi-Fi. I think about people who traveled in, like, the 1800s, where compared to what we do now, even this trip would be infinitely more complicated and hard. Even just, like, getting food would be this, like, okay, we have to, like, pack enough food for, like, days to get on a boat, etc. Like, there's no translation apps. At best, you might have, like, a phrase book that you can go back and forth with. And so compared to that, this will still be much easier. But for instance, you can't do credit card transactions because they are taken off of the SWIFT system, which allows you to take, like, Visa. So I can't just show up and boom, credit card, like I did basically in China, but with one intermediary step of the QR code on the app. Here, I have to bring. I was told that it sounds like I'm being pranked, like I'm being set up to be robbed.
I've thought about this, and it does.
It's like, you must bring crisp $100 bills in American cash, and then they can't be, like, written on or crumpled or whatever. They have to be very good condition. And you're going to go to a currency exchange like in the olden days and just exchange it for rubles, and that's how I'm going to have to pay for everything. So then, if I miscalculate, I'm either going to end up with way too many rubles that I have to bring back at the end, which then just blowing more money on the crappy exchange rate, or I don't get out enough, and then I'm on, like, the last day, and I was like, oh shit, I got 5 rubles. What can
Right.
I do?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. At least you've got a background in this world traveling thing, and it's not like your first time out. But it does seem
There's
intimidating
potential
because
for disaster. Is
there
what
is potential for disaster, and that's not to say like oh we're anticipating it to go badly. It's just
Oh,
that
I
like
am. That's how I gotta think.
oh, I think it's gonna go
No,
well. I think
I
you
don't
are
think it's gonna be bad.
savvy, and I think that you are equipped for this. Like, I think that you are gonna, I think that you're gonna really excel at this, and because this is right in your wheelhouse. But I definitely understand the nerves. I
I'll tell
definitely
you
get
how
it.
Russia feels because every time I go to a place, the answer is like far more normal than you would expect. So that is what
Right.
I actually am expecting. I don't think I'm gonna get mugged. I
Yeah.
don't think anything bad's gonna. I don't think I'm gonna get ripped off or my passport
Right.
stolen, whatever.
And I
But
think also, like, you'll have a good, you can probably, I mean, I'm sure that they know how to spot Americans, but like at the same time, I feel like you'll blend in well. Like you're not gonna be like doing the dumb tourist shit. You know what I
and I'm
mean?
gonna
Like,
be by Moscow, where it's like the most like every country, the big cities are where you have the most mixture of people. Where you
yeah,
see all
most
kinds of
metropolitan type
yeah.
of areas. And you know how to
And
travel. Like this is not your this
I'll
is
tell
your
you how many
severalist
red-haired
rodeo here. Like you
Russians
know
I
what
see.
you're doing. So I think that it's gonna be good. But if you guys have any questions, comments for him before he goes, make sure you get those to us on our socials, and he will, do his best to get that out there, or investigate or see it, or keep that shit in mind as much as he can. So, and we're wishing him the best of luck, and so that his nerves can be calm and he can actually have a fun, good time, which I think he's
Well,
going to be able to do.
Nicolette, are you ready for the weekly Mom Donnie report?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely. He's like, let me prepare you for this.
Are-
Yeah, no, we need to do that because it seems like he's like the hot button issue. He's like the rock star of politics right now, and that's why we always end up talking about him early in the show.
It's
But we
just
do,
because we've
yes,
both been fooled before, and we're
yes,
seeing it
yes,
happening, right? Like it's not even trying that hard to fool us at this point. That's kind of my point. I
right.
mean, it's neat that they did a rent freeze, but if people are speaking truly, he apparently did either the same or like this. A rent freeze is apparently common in New York. It was at De Blasio, I think, also did a rent freeze, but he wasn't called like the socialist hero of America.
Mhm.
It's like I guess a normal thing. I am not from New York. It seems like a different planet to me, but I don't know.
Kind of is. I mean, like you are or you aren't. Like you know what you're talking about, or you're not. You're there, you're not. It's not like, oh yeah, Omaha. No, come on. Like this is a completely other thing. But yeah, that's what we're about today. We're gonna start here, and I'm gonna since Jared missed out last week, I'm gonna turn things over to him and just kind of let him run the topics of conversation here, because we also want to cycle back. If you saw last week, I spent a lot of time talking about the Luigi news of his plea had just come through. And how much that didn't make sense legally or as a person. And Jared wasn't here, so we didn't get to comment on that. So we're going to cycle through that, and then maybe hopefully be able to spend some time on the open air eugenics movement happening in Gary, Indiana right now. That is in complete crisis. So we're going to bring those stories to you here. But we are going to go ahead and get started on the weekly Mom Donnie report. So take it away, Mr. Jared.
Again, I only bring this guy up so much because that's who I thought Bernie was. That's who I thought AOC was for a couple of weeks, and on and on. This has been going
Right.
on since like Carter.
Yes.
They haven't really changed the playbook that much, but and this doesn't even say that I think Mom Donnie is like a personally morally bad man or whatever. Like I'm not. Only God can judge the character of Mom Donnie. He's probably a great guy. He's probably really nice, but politically, if this is how we're supposed to like get the things that we supposedly want, well, are we being serious? So here we have Mamdani on Monday voiced his support for House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries after the congressman received blowback for the meeting with Jared Kushner. Like, I don't give a shit about that as much. This article talks about like how the controversy is that he met with Jared Kushner. Remember, Mamdani met with Trump. I don't really care who meets with who. I think it's really weird to just get mad at somebody purely for like being near.
You're doing the same job. Like it's just meeting a coworker, like
Yeah,
of all the
basically.
things to get hung up on. Like
Like
what
you're
was he
supposed to
supposed to
pretend
smash
to.
a pie in Trump's face? Like come the
Yeah.
fuck on.
You're supposed to be like ceremonially, like performatively, like you're a bad guy, Mr. Trump. You sure are.
Right?
But
Yeah, yeah, he was really gonna give it to him like in his
I don't
first
really
like
care about him
hour on
meeting
the
with.
job. Like, oh come on.
So why do I care about this? Well, I think this is what the controversy should be if we're taking these kinds of politics seriously and we're supposed to actually obtain serious success from politics like this by pursuing this line of basically a blue no matter who thing, because as we would always complain about back in the day when I was a true believer, the Democrat establishment fights against anybody approaching any progressive anything at all times, and then the progressive people, huge scare quotes, will endorse the establishment every single time, and if they do not, they will be demolished like within a month. So we have Hakeem Jeffries rejects Medicare for all and DSA agenda. And Mamdani is supposed to be the DSA hero, and then they'll be like, well, he's not in the DSA. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of my point also, is the DSA isn't really a thing. It's
not a thing. It's
like
just a lobby.
An advertisement, a lobby would be a good way to put
PAC.
it. They don't have like a PAC. Yeah, it's a fundraising
Like
source.
a PAC with like no influence or money.
that can't make anybody do anything. That can't accomplish any of its goals other than some like ceremonial. Like they got a couple seats. Like Rashida Tlaib is in there, and she's
They're really good at shaming you into trying to do what they want you to do, though. So maybe that's what they excel at.
They'll tell you if you don't vote for Democrats, you're racist and transphobic and killing everyone. And it's like, yeah, but they are doing this. Okay. Preaching to the choir, I know everybody. But we got House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said Sunday he does not support Medicare for all legislation and distanced himself from the agenda of Democratic Socialists of America, staking out a centrist position as Democrats seek to regain control of the House ahead of the November midterms. We're on our way to a supermajority Obama thing. We're going to get a shit ton of Dems in there, and then nothing's going to happen, and it'll be like our fault because we didn't vote enough. Appearing on NBC's Meet the Press, the New York Democrat was asked by host Kirsten Welker, I don't know who these people are, about whether he backs the single-payer healthcare proposal, which he previously co-sponsored. I didn't know that. Had previously co-sponsored before ascending to the party's top leadership post. Like, I feel like I undersell how bullshit all of this is. Like, of course he co-sponsored. Remember, like a month ago, we had the guy who voted. We had the guy who voted against his own bill because it was it was a tie, and he had to make sure the thing didn't pass. Like, it's WWE. It's his fake fighting.
And yeah, it's the humiliation ritual. Making a guy vote against his own fucking bill. Like come the fuck on, people. Like, this is not a
AOC
functioning
cried,
system.
Remember?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like, and if I didn't know that either. If Hakeem Jeffries, because you wouldn't fucking know that, like, by their behavior. Like, Hakeem Jeffries was part of like that like whole shit, and he's like, oh, I'm not on that anymore. Like, why are you not? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, okay, like, so what the fuck?
I don't know if their boss changed. All right, it's really all from now on. We don't have to belabor the point here. I do want to re-go over some Luigi stuff because I am not as current on it, so I've pulled up an article here, so I'm saying it earlier, where Luigi has pled guilty on Friday to federal charges.
Yeah, he pleaded, but the thing of it is he pleaded guilty to both the stalking and the murder case, which he was initially charged with. There was no plea deals to something lower thing. There was no it just makes zero sense for the, like, why would you do this? Like, what, like, even if you were guilty as fuck, and this is what I talked about last week, like, if you did a crime, you're guilty as fuck, they know for sure, there's no gray area. It is literally your job to stay alive, and your legal team's job to keep you fucking alive. We're talking death penalty now, and he pleaded guilty to something that's going to put him in a position
That's what I was looking up.
Yes.
Looking to see if I seen life in prison, but I know it's always possible that you can.
Yeah, they didn't even plead for that. Like, it's like, give a full confession, say what you did, and we'll take death penalty off the table. No, like, so it, that's why this is like some sort of like maybe a coercion situation. It's very unclear about what's going on here with this.
Defense lawyer filed a motion to dismiss the state because they were talking about federal, and then there's also state charges. Yeah. Immediately after his guilty plea in federal court, arguing New York State's double jeopardy law shields him from being prosecuted twice and in separate jurisdictions over the same underlying conduct. Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, because the way these freaking things are, like, I think I do tend to underestimate the amount of crazy. It's like when the Epstein files came out, it's like they're literally Alex Jones, like, they're eating people on an island, and then you find out later, oh, they were eating people on an island.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, I think we undersell just how insane all this shit is. So like, I would not be shocked at all if there's like, child, Luigi, you can do this, or things will be worse for you. Like any amount of pressure can be applied to him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and again, we are dealing with one of the biggest crime syndicates in the country, if not the world, organized. You know, I don't want to hear things about like mafia or gangs or crap like this. This is organized crime at the base level of such. So,
all right,
what
federal
is going
sentencing.
on?
What I'm looking is possible. I only ever see possible life sentences. I don't see a lot of death penalty discussions. I don't know if what is it? Does New York like not do the death penalty? Because I know that's kind of state by state. I know Arizona hasn't executed somebody in a long time, but I think it's still on the
Federal
books that
doesn't
you can.
care. You know, the state
Do we
might,
have
but
federal death
federal
penalty?
just take you out over to Terre Haute and give it to you there. You know, like, so, you know, that's part of it too. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, this makes so little sense. There is zero, like, from like, there's like no self-preservation in here. There was no deal made. There was no plea to a lesser charge that we can definitely stick you on. Right. And it's like, if you are guilty as fuck and you did something and they got you dead to fucking rights, they've got you with DNA, they've got you with on camera, they got you this, that, and the other. Like, you will still, it is still your job, and it's still your legal team's job to try to get your ass out of it, or at least to the degree that it is a lesser charge, like, you know, like no death penalty, just life in prison or whatever. So you will almost never do people plead straight guilty, because it's just there's no future in it. And then obviously you've got a series of appeals, but if you've already started off at the bottom, like, where are you going to fucking go? Like,
Yeah.
there's, the appeals no longer matter. So, and the jury selection is going to be an absolute shit show when, you know, this comes to.
Yeah, it's just gonna take like 20 years to fucking figure out.
Yeah, and then
just keep it drawn on.
and then because this one, at least there was all kinds of credible doubt. You know, both of us were like, I don't, he didn't did
I
it.
don't think he
You
did.
know, right? Like, he
think
didn't
so.
did it, like, because they came up with the gun after the fact at the police station. Like, it was illegal search and seizure. The video of the guy in
Yeah,
it had a covered up face. You could sit there and have your legal team argue all day long and be like, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. You
that's what I
can't
thought it was
fucking
gonna
prove
be.
it.
I thought it was gonna go on and on, be like a year-long trial because they just have all this shit to go over. But no, it's just
Right.
guilty. Right?
Yeah, so it's like, what is the thing here? Because even if you were like, okay, like, let's say like this, and I talked about this last week too, but I'll catch you up on this. So there's this this weird like crazy third option, right? The secret third option to guilty and innocent, right? So it's like, you plead not guilty, or you don't plead innocent. You plead not guilty, or you plead guilty, right? And yeah, sometimes people do plead guilty, like, because there's just no way out of it. Nowhere, going nowhere. Almost never, though. But if you plead not guilty, then you essentially you go on until you either make a deal with prosecution, who's going to say, all right, we got you, but we will go on this lesser charge if you give a full confession and tell us where the bodies are, you know, like, whatever the fuck it is. So what you did, how you did it, you know. But that didn't happen. And then, so what will happen in that case is, like, if you look guilty, but the state is not, or state, federal, whatever, is not able to prove it, then you take what is called an Alford plea, and they're becoming more well known now. It's something that really wasn't done that much before, but an Alford plea says, we basically have you on this, but we can't all the way fucking prove it. So if you take this Alford plea, we'll give you like time served or whatever because of what you already did, but we can't fucking prove it, and you can go. So it's like, it's basically like the like in between of both. And there's a lot of high profile cases here in the last few years where that was the case. Most notably, I think, is the staircase murder situation, and I think the Scott Peterson. It happened to Scott Peterson, but he ended up in life in prison anyway. I'm not sure about that one. I'm talking off the top of my head on that one. But the point is that at the very least, he should have pursued an Alford plea, which would say, okay, you guys think you got me. All right, haha, okay, but you can't prove it. So, and then that, you know, maybe it just doesn't make any fucking sense. As a person, there's no self-preservation here, because you've left yourself nowhere to go. And if you're thinking like, okay, I'm going to go full hero on this, we're going to maybe pursue jury nullification, like, that is like a 0.00% shot that you've done. So it doesn't make any sense. I said I was going to let you talk, and then I did.
No, this is good. This is like, I know so much less about this. I mean, I do think it's interesting that I don't see as much like death penalty talk. And here's the thing I was chuckling at before is that this article says the prison he's in, the Metropolitan Detention Center, it's like currently in custody of other high-profile inmates such as Nicolas Maduro, the Venezuelan president, and his wife. And then in recent years, like Puff Daddy was in there, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Ghislaine Maxwell. It's like,
This is the celebrity jail, apparently. Yeah.
It is a celebrity jail.
Well, or political pseudo celebrity jail. It's just it doesn't make any sense if you start at the bottom. The reason that you start with non-guilty pleas is so you have somewhere to go. So that immediately raises the question about because in this particular case there was a lot of shadow of doubt here, which could easily, if a jury is following the rule and saying we literally cannot prove it, so then you're going to go probably into mistrials and hung juries and over and over and over and over and over again. And they may have threatened him with that, but the last thing we saw from him that we heard from his own mouth is when they were wrestling his ass into jail and he's going, I didn't fucking do this. This is a miscarriage of justice and it's going to be proven. And the next time we hear from him, it's I'm fully guilty. What?
There's gotta be some kind of there's shenanigans are going on.
Something is going on. And then it looks like also, and from what I've seen as well, it's okay, well, because last week when this story had just dropped, I think maybe the day before I was on air. I'm like, okay, well, by next week, there should be more clarity on this. We should start to get the ball rolling on what's going on, something. Nothing, fucking crickets. And then I'm hearing people are saying that the stories are being throttled, that social media is suppressing, and media sites are suppressing information about what's going on and the story in general in hopes of people having, internet brain and forgetting about it, because they are obviously afraid of jury nullification. Now, if you don't know what that is, basically it just means, it just happened just recently. I can't remember the state. Maybe it was Wisconsin, but there was a guy that cut down a flock camera. It broke when it went down. And then they took him and they were going to charge him. And the jury was like, fuck you, no. And then the charges were dropped. That's jury nullification.
Just get to a jury trial and you'll make it.
Yeah. So, but you cannot, in any scope of the imagination, count on that. There is nothing. There's nothing is gonna let you do that. It when they're selecting jurors, they're gonna obviously look for people who are not sympathetic to him and are totally about law and order and rule of law and this, that, and the other. It could take honestly years just to select the fucking jury at this point. So no due process we're talking about. I can't imagine that this special celebrity jail is so nice compared to his life before that, he's like, I'll do it.
She probably got a nice cell. Assuming she doesn't have a body double or something.
And healthcare and whatnot. But he's in a position right now where he's reached that pseudo celebrity folk hero status. If he got out of it, if he fought it, if he continues to be everybody's champion, he's gonna go out and he's gonna do book tours and introduce John Hinckley Jr.'s band. He's gonna go out and
or he just be immediately assassinated as soon as he's outside.
That runs that risk. But that's because again this is such a a Dust Bowl Woody Guthrie era style of a little man against the machine type of a situation, because if he did, if he was able to fight, he was able to get out, and he did have all this public support, and he did go on, he would likely they'd kill his ass as soon as he got out. So maybe he's afraid of that happening. But it just, from a legal standpoint, and again, if you talk to me for more than 2 seconds, you know that I am not a lawyer or anything close. I'm just a person who knows shit and runs their mouth. So, but I do know enough to say that it just doesn't make sense from a legal standpoint, from a self-preservation standpoint. If you wagered that this is your best bet, what the fuck? This doesn't make any sense because you've left yourself nowhere to go. If your legal team said that this is what you have to do, and we're not talking about coercion, we're not talking about manipulation of any kind. You got bad lawyers, and I know that there's got to be 1 million people wanting to make a name off of him, who would represent him. to be represented by him. So it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Where's
But
his
that's
Charlie Cochran? Is that the guy who was the OJ
Johnny
guy?
Cochran. Yeah, he's
Johnny
dead though.
Charlie Cochran. Where's his Johnny Cochran? Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. And that was so dumb, but it fucking worked because it was so bite-sized, and that was before the fucking internet, right? So and that was like the most major court case. Like, I think anybody will cite, I think in the past probably 100 years, the most memorable, most major, most out of control kind of court situation. And even that worked out in OJ's favor pretty well. I mean, like, later it didn't. He still ended up in prison anyways because he's
broke into
guns,
somebody's fucking house.
yeah, right. So it's like there was like this just it makes no sense because okay. OJ was a villain through and through. People knew that, right? Like, that was the thing. Everybody was mad at him. It stoked a lot of racism, so a lot of white people could be like, oh, so he did not have the public support that a Luigi has, and a Luigi would have, right? So this is a completely different scenario in terms of public opinion, the court of public opinion. And that puts us it's just such a very bizarre thing to do unless he's been forced into it in some way by threat of something to his family or something that means something to him. I don't know what, but it's like, if somebody was going to make a threat and force you into doing something that potentially was going to lead to, or not potentially, it will lead to, at the very least, life in prison, at the possibility of going on death row and living, which is most people, there's a bit of a misconception about, like, if you're sentenced to death, that's it. Next day you're going into the chamber. That's not what it is. It's like people live their whole life, the rest of their life. Like I mentioned this last week, but the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, he did his crimes in the 80s, went through all the process of court and appeals and whatnot, went on to death row and lived his whole ass life on death row and died, a few years ago. So, and he was like guilty as fuck. Like, that guy, like, nobody was questioning that this guy was, and he was like one of the worst serial killers there was, because they couldn't figure it out because he kept doing different kinds of serial killing. Like, you would, usually have a pattern. This guy had no pattern. So it took a long time. And if you remember, he was also the one that got caught in, like, I think it was like East Los Angeles in a neighborhood, and the people just kicked his ass, and the cops had to like take him away from the people. Like, they caught his fucking ass. But my point is that was super high profile as well. He got sentenced to death, and he lived like 30 years on death row. So, but that is still a fucking gamble. Like, when you're, talking about in terms of like federal charges, who will accelerate the process and just be like, we're doing this. Like, if you start off at the bottom, there's nowhere to go. And that just doesn't make any sense when you actually have reasonable doubt in a case with reasonable doubt.
What if the jury just refuses to convict?
That's what we're like. I mean, like, that's what we, like, as the people are hoping for, whether he did it or not. I don't care. The guy that, Brian Thompson is directly or depending on how you look at it, directly or indirectly responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths, so I don't care. It's not equivocal. Like, one guy, one asshole living like on top of all of these other people who have literally, got there by stomping other people to death, metaphorically, if you want, does not, they're not equivocal. One guy does not equal, like, like this, like we would have not, I mean, maybe probably people were, but like, actually, I'm sure people were, but it's like, in the Nuremberg trials, and then later, when people with, the Wiesenthal Foundation would find Nazis hiding in Canada, living normal lives, the question really, like, okay, are we going to say, like, this guy was, like, literally, like pulling the fucking lever, okay? Like, this guy was, like, one of the worst guys. Are we going to say his one life that he lived all the way now that he's fucking 80 years old, had a great fucking time, is worth the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people he killed directly responsible for? Like, what is, now we are in the moral battle of it. And again, like you say, hopefully from our point of view, a jury, like, we have to go to mistrial until the charges are dismissed, because they just can't get a jury to convict.
And my biggest point is because I don't think he did it.
Yeah, but yeah, I know, right? Like that, it's just like like what don't we know? Because this has been going on now for a while. If there was new information to come to light about, like, oh, actually, they had him dead to fucking rights. They were tracking him. They were using like the whatever generation of flock cams were then to track him, to see him. They have all of his online records. They know it front to fucking back. It's unquestionable. You could still say, okay, you have all this other shit. What is going to actually be like allowed into trial? And the video of him actually committing the murder, the man's face is covered up. That's reasonable doubt. I don't care what you think, anybody. Like, I don't care. Like, that is a reasonable doubt. And you might say, okay, well, the gun, we're not even going to admit that about how the gun came into play.
Either he didn't do it, or the cops made it look so bad that he should, based on our legal system, be like OJ. Well, except where I do think OJ probably did it. That one seemed a lot more obvious, but in this case, he should be getting off, man.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it is. That's what I'm saying. It just doesn't make any sense from a legal standpoint. This is like a legal nosedive. Like, this is outrageous. Like if you did this, like, in any other case, any other time, people would be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, if it wasn't the super high profile thing, because this is just not how it's done. This is not how the legal system works. Like, you try to work it to your advantage to stay the fuck alive.
Do we think our world is so grim dark that we have like paid assassins taking out healthcare CEOs for? I'm trying to figure. If you asked me what I thought the purpose of that CEO being killed was, because I don't think it was like Luigi. So the whole motive, everything else falls from that. So I don't think it was a guy who was just mad about healthcare and then shot him, because I don't think it was him. So the supposed manifesto that he produced, I don't believe is real or written by him. So barring that, why was this guy? Was he have like gambling debt? Did the machine just decide to be like, so chaos, kill this guy?
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me, honestly. Like, make it look like a vigilante hit, and make it look like, a situation where we can maybe kind of follow a guy around and make him look like he's the guy, and then make this look like a vigilante situation so that we can sow sympathy for the healthcare industry, which already was before this like the most regaled fucking thing in this country. So
Hakeem Jeffries indirectly wants these healthcare CEOs to be killed, because if we actually got Medicare for all or whatever and had a more logical healthcare system that costs a lot less money, there'd be less reason to go gun down the CEO of United Healthcare.
And it seems like, there throughout the time we've had a lot of, I think a lot of suppression and Luigi being suppressed in the media, in the social media, especially because they were, and there's been stories about this all this time, they were specifically doing that to try to keep from people being inspired to do copycat situations. And then these CEOs, remember, for a while they started having bodyguards and canceling events and things like that. It's like, oh, are you fucking worried? Why are you so fucking worried then? This wasn't at random. And then it happened to, it didn't happen again exactly. It kind of did, but there was the guy that a guy went and tried to do it. I can't remember the exact details of the story. This happened, I don't know, about 6 months or so ago, maybe longer. But there was a guy who he was sure he had, CTE, a lot of brain damage and head trauma, and he went and tried to take out some health care people for the same reason, but he wasn't able to. I can't remember the exact circumstances at this time. Things move so fast. But there was a guy, I think he was ex-NFL or something like that, and that's why the story, but I can't remember exactly. But somebody had also kind of had the same thought that, what's trending? It just popped up. Blue wave in 70 days.
I think they're gonna get it, and they're gonna get everything they want, and the monkey paw is gonna curl, and we're all gonna cry. Well, not me. I'll still be sad. Like, I want the good thing to happen, everybody. I hope we get voted our way into a fucking socialist wonderland or whatever. I can't get fooled like 20 times. Only 19.
Yeah. Shout out to the chat. Hey, Nathan and Time Traveler, thanks for hanging out with us. And Time Traveler says, I loved it when when they listed all the top CEOs in the industries and pictures and addresses. Yeah, see, like that's kind of the thing too. It's like that is public information. Like anybody could do this shit at any point, and I feel like, you know, there could be some kind of big, like, okay, like say this was like a plan, like a big conspiracy type sort of plan, make it, the industry did this to itself to pick out a guy and make it look like a vigilante thing, and then they released all this shit, and then, you know, like you can kind of go around and around and around with this and then say like, okay, because they're really trying to make you feel like, oh, actually these are the good guys, and you know, don't, you know, and we need to change the tide on this. Like,
these are just middle managers in the system. You're not legally allowed to do things that would hurt the shareholders. So, like, well, even if this dude wanted to do, quote, good things, that's why just moralizing this becomes, it's just become a dead end, I think. Because, like, let's say he went and Robin Hooded it up, like, he'd either be fired or, like, arrested. Like, that's considered, like, fraud. Like, that's a penalized act in our current system, and it just shows the massive gulf between what the actual people want. Like, you don't have to worry about your house getting protested and fucking shit thrown through your windows if you're a nice guy. Like, if you're creating positive effects, like if you're managing in a way that is benefiting people, the people won't want to strangle you.
yeah,
But notice
Shoot you in
they
the
are there
street.
because they largely benefit big C capital. They are performing their managerial function to the best of its ability. Ironically, that's the kind of jobs that will get AI replaced because it's just a math problem now, and it's a financial math problem, and
Yes.
computers automatically do most of our bank shit anyway at this point. So it's just this unnecessary function that's actual result, that's material result, is people can't see a doctor, and everything is more expensive and like ruins your life if you're ever sick. But
And
it
that
benefits
might,
a financial class, so there it is. Like,
that might be part of the whole like inside conspiracy thing as well, to try to say like, well, this is a dangerous profession, so we have to automate it, and you have to agree, and you have to support it, and
yeah, it's
blah
dangerous
blah
to be
blah.
like a scumbag manager because you create a
Right.
lot of people who hate you.
Yeah. In like like a long-winded means to justify being able to switch to an AI model, which is going to deny you everything at every turn,
That
and
was
then
one
you
of the
have
things he did, wasn't it? Like, didn't that guy like
uh
slap an algorithm on
I think that
rejections?
was where things were headed at the time of his death, that he was starting to put the implement, he was involved in implementing some of that into the way that they were doing it.
That's why everybody knows how to work with. It's just a thing of like it's a skill check for dealing with paperwork and having enough patience and time to call, because you're gonna get everybody. You basically know like, okay, I'm gonna get rejected the first time, so then here's my plan for step 2 and step 3. Like, you have to call back a bunch of times, ask the thing, get chased around. You're
Shouldn't
like,
be happen. I mean, I don't. It doesn't. It seems like beyond obvious that this should not be how things fucking go.
that's
And
why it's so fucked that Hakeem Jeffries is over here like no Medicare for us. Like, you're supposed to be this like sorry, you're supposed to be this progressive, the farthest left guy that we are ever given the option to even vote for, and it's like it's so easy. This is the most slam dunk shit ever. 70 or something percent of registered Republicans want Medicare for all. What is your effing excuse? Like 90% of Democrats, and it's like, sorry, can't do it.
right.
Why? Because then it
It-
would be solved, and we couldn't use it as a fucking stick to beat you with by
Right.
threatening to maybe give you some health care if you just vote for us one more time. Like, it's just the fakest shit, and the demands
Yeah.
get lower every year. Like this,
Yes.
it's like we're still fighting over a $15 minimum wage. 15 years after that would have been enough.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing too. And I did touch on this last week as well, because like we are at an inflection point where if any of this shit is going to piss people off enough, we are at it. And the thing is because we're moving past identity politics, because now people are seeing that voting doesn't matter. It is actually absolutely irrelevant to
Within
what
this
you
system,
want.
your
It is
will is erased systematically
Yes,
to
it is
make sure it
diametrically
cannot
opposed.
possibly happen.
And in this also is because we know now at this point that everybody is, you know, almost nobody's going to support the surveillance state, the license plate readers, the cops having free will, the no warrants to search you, the flat camera culture, the AI nonsense. Everybody hates the data centers. Everybody hates all of these things together. And when people, now we're at a point where it's like when people of a community say we're going to sue you if you try to put a data center in here, then the city and the state will sue their asses back. So that started now.
We're not going to get into it, but there's a lot of Republicans who are like mainstream Republicans who are taking a stand against data centers, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
There are.
we're gonna get lapped on the left by the Republicans again.
And that's the thing. And then look at what just
It's
happened
so
in Texas.
phony, man.
So
What happened in Texas?
yeah, and what happened in Texas at the end of July, they decided that they were going to make THC possession a felony.
I do remember.
A felony, even though 70% of voters have said we want it legal and we don't want to be in a fucking felony. They said, fuck you, we're doing it anyway. So where was your vote power there? Where was your just one vote, just one more time there? Where is, you know, you don't want your license plate surveilled. You don't want to be looked at every time you fucking go on the internet and go out of your house. Like, you don't want that. You know, you don't want that. But okay, so you're gonna vote for what? You're gonna vote for what? And then like you vote for, okay, I'm gonna vote for the Democrats because I really want fucking healthcare. Oh no! Like, so in 70 fucking days, what are you guys gonna do? And I know we're preaching to the choir, but it's so asinine at this point. Like, what else are we gonna talk about? Like, this is so stupid. This is so fucking stupid.
Fights. It's because we got rid of like abortions kind of on the. I don't know. Oh, I forgot that one got struck down or whatever. Abortion's not like fun to talk about anymore as like political football,
Right.
except for locally, because like a lot of states have now just like decided, like my state, boom, we had a vote on it, but I think now that's why we got it. Like and yes, it does actually ruin people's lives when they actually get arrested for these shits, but you know that just increases your prison
And
labor
they are
population.
using the surveillance to track women who go to other states from illegal states to legal states to get abortions.
You're getting your surveillance state that you're so scared of in like China, except none of the benefits. Oh, they only do the shitty things with it. They don't do any of the possible positives. Because like I was saying the other week, make it open source. I would even prefer that. Just let everybody see the flock cameras. I think
Right,
that would.
if that's what
I think
they're
that would
gonna
put
do,
a lot of crime to rest. Because you could just be like, "Who stole my shit?" and then just fucking track them. Hey, give me back my bike.
Give my shit back, right? Yeah. So
solve all crimes. Who murdered them? Oh, there it is. It's on video. Oh, who stole the car? There it is.
Oh, but we couldn't do that then because then they wouldn't. Then it would nullify it. It would make it
stalk. You got to use it as cops to stalk your ex and.
And film children's fucking swimming pools and gymnastics fucking event. Yeah, that's what it's been for. And they've allowed this to happen. And we are seeing Republican pushback in ways you wouldn't necessarily think so, because that seems like that's their shit, right? Like that would be.
I would bet that if you did that in China, you'd actually go to jail.
Yeah.
Or something would happen to you. Like.
Something, yeah, right. Something would happen, because they would fucking think ahead, like don't fucking do that shit, right? No, we're not gonna let like one class of people be able to rule over all the other classes of people by doing whatever pervert shit that they fucking want to, and
pervert shit.
That's what this is. Like, that's what this is. Like, and it is being already these things have also, Flock is now like sort of like the blanket term. It is a company, but it's sort of like saying Windex for glass cleaner. Like it's
there's other ones. It's just
there's other ones, and this has been happening for a few years. This like at the time of like this was started like basically in the COVID heyday. So this has been going on for a little while already. So like they are already using this. This is like we're at the point where cops figured out how to use it to their benefit. Like, it took a little bit. And again, a lot of these companies also are Israeli companies. No fucking surprise. So
actually, that can help me segue because we have just enough time to get into we're going into Jared's schizo corner here. Am I using that term correctly?
When rich people eat people for fun, nothing is off the fucking table. It's crazy? All there.
But this does ironically involve an Israeli company, which we will get to in a second, because we're gonna do a big shift here where we're gonna start really far in one direction, and then we're gonna shift over. We're gonna start with very believable. My window won't click. Come on, man. I need. Let me bring us back up. Oh, there we are.
I can see. Yeah, I can see you on split screen with it.
So we're gonna start on. Great. We're gonna start at the most I guess
you stopped talking and I was like,
end of this, and then we're gonna go over to. Yeah, and we have had more. Like our internet's doing better than it was. We aren't like dropping the calls, but I do think we have more of a delay than we usually do, and that makes less sense because I've gone from Wi-Fi to like hardwired internet, so it should be way better. I don't know. All right. We're going to start on the very normie end of this, and then we're going to go all the way over to the most advanced schizo theory. Let's see. I hope I'm using that term correctly. I think it's like slang for like conspiracy theorists at this point, right? to be schizo. I hope it's not an offensive term. I'm not trying to make anybody
No,
feel
you're
bad.
fine.
I think it's funny
It's sort
though.
of it's a generic term.
So we got we're talking about Charlie Kirk, baby. Not and remember, this is not because I'm like devastated. I was not like a big Charlie Kirk fan. I want to know why what seems to ostensibly be a political assassination happened. They gave us a very poor explanation, and then we all just kind of like we're supposed to move on. It's like, wait, what? That seems weird. What like this is not getting the Luigi treatment where we're getting any kind of coverage.
Right.
And if you bring it up, you get considered a schizo. Here we are. So we have here's the normie version of this. Here's I wanted to find like the what we're being told happened, like the official narrative. I assume there was some kind of investigation. Prosecutors say bullet engraving. And this just came out. This is August 19th. I thought this was a real old article because I knew about these bullet engravings. Prosecutors say bullet engraving shows Charlie Kirk was targeted for his politics. So again, political assassination. Why are we not like looking into this? And here's a cartridge, and you can see it says "Hey fascist" on it. Prosecutors Charlie Kirk's killing pointed Tuesday to an engraved bullet, arguing that the inscription "Hey fascist" catch demonstrates that Kirk was targeted for how the defendant perceives his politics, and that defendant is Tyler Robinson. So I do not believe that, much like with Luigi, I do not believe that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. And that's we almost have a vested interest in this because he's being portrayed as like as I keep jokingly saying, the trans furry super sniper. I think it's actually their partner that is trans and a furry, but when you say it that way, it illustrates a little bit how crazy it is. That this is like that they're this person who's never shot a gun at a person ever in their life, and they're just like stone cold hitman from a distance that would not be easy. And I think it's a bit ridiculous just on its face, but then the more you look into it, the more they're like, why, what is happening here? So, whether Tyler Robinson acted out of political animus could be key for prosecutors seeking the death penalty or for his attorneys in taking that punishment off the table.
Right.
So I want to go down to I just want to get a summary of what they say happened. Robinson is charged with crimes including aggravated murder and has not yet entered a plea. The 23-year-old defendant turned himself in a day after the shooting, and he didn't just turn himself in. Like he got a call from I guess a family friend who is a cop and saying, "Hey, the cops are going to come to arrest you, Tyler, because they think they shot a thing." And then he turned themselves in because
Didn't that have something
they
to do
thought
with
they
his
were,
dad
they
too?
might
Like,
get,
didn't his dad turn him in or something?
they thought they might get. Yeah, I think, yeah. Oh God, you're right. Frick! It's like he called the dad and told the dad, and then the dad told him, and
Right.
it's like you better turn yourself in, son, and then you did, whatever. But I do think there's credence to the theory that Tyler Robinson turned themselves in because they were scared they were going to show up and just shoot him, just show up and gun him down in his house because the cops do shit like that, and especially to assassins, like what happened with a guy in Butler, Pennsylvania. He was killed. He was shot immediately.
Yeah.
So he wanted to be taken alive. So what do we got here? Robinson's attorneys have argued that the text message is not strong enough evidence to prove a political motivation. Oh yeah, because that matters in like the sentencing as to how it's done, if it's considered a political thing or something else. What is it? A handwritten note prosecutors alleged that Robinson left for Twigs read in part, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I took it." Or where we are. Twigs told investigators he had considered a gender transition around the time of Kirk's killing, according to prosecutors. Like, you see how this is just... if you were trying to do, like, misdirection here, they're throwing out freaking everything, right? They're like, here's all this culture war shit we can talk about, and here's all...
And this comes from CNN. What do they stand to gain? Like, what is your point of view here? What do they stand to gain to be like, oh, also let's throw in this trans debate issue? Like, what? Like, is that what your audience wants to hear from you? That this was part of it? Like, this had anything to do with it? Makes no sense.
So then we got reportedly he shot Charlie Kirk from the roof of the science building on the University of Utah campus, if I remember correctly. And then they supposedly, and then there are all these things that they'll bring up how the rifle, like in the footage of a shadowy figure climbing off the roof, you don't see a rifle. So, and they're like, oh well, they hit it in their pant leg, and it's like, yeah, but they're bending their knee, like it doesn't look as a fucking big ass, because it's supposedly an antique 30-06, and then gun people will bring up that if you shot a guy with a 30-06, it would like blow his fucking head off, and that's not what happened, and like there's a million billion holes you can poke in this thing of things like that's weird, that make the official story a bit ridiculous. I don't remember what company, or maybe it was Palantir. When they found the supposed murder weapon, it was on in the backyard of, or somewhere on the property of a thing owned by, I'm pretty sure, either Palantir or like Raytheon or one of these, like by one of the shadowy corps or organizations where you're like, that's weird, why is this? He, like, the outfit he was in was inconsistent with, like, he was like seen at a Dairy Queen earlier that day, so he would have like change his clothes and then like disassemble because they were talking about, they found a screwdriver, but it was on the roof, so how'd he put the gun back together again if he left the screwdriver? All this shit. So what do we think happened? I think I've talked about this before. My previous prevailing theory was that he had his microphone pack had a little bomb in it, like with the pagers in Lebanon, and they like blew it up, and it kind of looks like it could be a gunshot because like the back of the mic, the little magnet thing that clips it onto your shirt, like went flying from the blast and hit his neck and then blew. I tried really hard not to watch that video, by the way, but I scrolled by and like scroll faster. It's like, I don't want to see people die. It's not good for your
motion of somebody's head blowing off. It's fucking
psyche.
Gross.
It's not good for your soul to look
It's
at
really
people
not,
actually
like,
die.
I'll put a note in there on that. Like, don't watch that kind of content, honestly. Like, I know you're probably tempted to see this because of all the Israeli shit that's always going on all the time, but don't do that. There is a documentary that came out about the Vietnam War years and years ago. It's called Hearts and Minds. It is like one of the worst watches of like anything that's ever been made. Like they literally like show shit up close that you will never get out of your head. So like, don't do it. I know, and like, if you're a journalist, if you're an investigator, if you've got an idea and if you can handle it, I guess do it. But like, if you're just like a person, don't fucking do it. You don't need that on your psyche.
So another reason that I feel this is worth talking about is that if you establish that patsies will be set up like what I believe Tyler Robinson to be, if they're doing it in this occasion, one, why? Why do they care enough that they want to set up a fake, like basically a fall guy for this assassination, for this killing?
Who does assassinating Charlie Kirk serve? Like, what purpose?
So why set up a fake guy? And then if they set up a fake guy for this, what else have they set up a fake guy for? The dude in Butler who was shot immediately. Was there a second shooter on the grassy knoll situation? Freaking going all the way back to JFK. Did that guy do it? Did Oswald?
Pretty much, I mean, proof in like physics pretty much is like, at this point, case closed. No. So
that's another thing that Trump was supposed to do. Remember, he was supposed to declassify all the JFK shit.
Yeah, that
the
never
JFK
happened.
Junior's in government, and he talks about how he thinks it was some bullshit.
Yeah. They let some stuff go, but it was just like asinine shit that was basically nothing. Like, everything else blacked out. It's like, oh, I did it. There it is. Like, fuck off.
So if they're willing to set up patsies, and first of all, why, and then also what else have they set up patsies for? How many of these assassinations? I've heard that remember the Vegas shooting?
Mm-hmm.
Freaking, was like 100+ people or something got gunned down. I've heard there's like doubt about what that whole thing was like.
Yeah.
But not jumping into any of that.
Wild.
Sticking to Charlie Kirk. Oh no, it was like 180 people.
And the tracer bullets, and that's a wild fucking story. Yeah, and it still kind of doesn't make sense. But you going along with that story, we're having to recall that, right? Like, you go in the recesses of your memory,
barely even talk about it.
And we're talking about the Charlie Kirk thing, which everybody's already written off. To what benefit was it? Yeah. This guy's a glorified podcaster, right? Like, to what ends and what benefit was it, and to whom, to even bother
is it
to
so
do
important
this?
to do this fucking crazy ass cover up story nonsense? Like, why should it matter? I mean, it's fucked up that somebody got shot, but yeah, like you're saying, this is supposedly a podcaster. How important was Charlie Kirk? He was reportedly one of the only people telling the president, like him and Tucker Carlson were like, don't go to war with Iran. It's a horrible mistake. Yeah. And then he did it, and it's been horrible. So
yeah, and then there was
why
some anti-Israel sentiment going on.
Yeah, he was starting to
Are we going to bother with that, really?
Okay, so we're coming back to talking about Israeli-owned companies. So, all right, I'm going to warn everyone. This is a content warning. We are going to see Jimmy Dore's face. Yeah. People have various opinions on Jimmy Dore. He's certainly not right on everything, but he had I can't think of any other way to go about this without just freaking playing a video at you guys, which I'm not going to do. If you want to watch, there's like an hour-long thing where they talk all about this. And I now think this is the best the best theory. It makes the most sense, even though it sounds also slightly crazy at the same time. Here we go. We've gone for the normiest sort, what the state is saying happened, or at least what they say they think happened, and now we're gonna go all the way to the other end. What is the cutting edge of conspiracy theories about how Charlie Kirk died? Here we go.
Here we go.
This is the best I could find as far as pages to read off of, so that's why I'm looking at this one. It's not being widely talked about, of course. So we have independent investigator John Cullen joins Jimmy Dore, to present his hypothesis that Charlie Kirk was killed by an Israeli-made, that's where the Israeli company thing comes back, Israeli-made armed drone, possibly deployed from a U.S. Army Hades, it's an acronym, Hades spy plane that made 2 low-altitude passes over the campus. Cullen argues that evidence points away from the official narrative of a lone gunman, citing acoustic analysis from the scene. They're saying that when based on the timing and the that you can hear on recordings, like how the distance and trajectory, etc., that they're saying they can figure out. I don't know. Acoustic analysis from the scene, and points to an Elbit Systems, that's the Israeli company, Elbit Systems bird of prey system. They have an autonomous drone capable of mounting a rifle as the likely weapon platform. And actually, the screenshot is kind of funny because it shows like they just like slapped an AR on there, and that's not what I think it looks like. It's just like a barrel.
Like the AI version.
Yeah, you don't have to you don't have to put like a whole rifle to make it work. You could just take like most of that shit is made for a human hand to hold, so you can just stick like the barrel part and have your freaking firing mechanism. It doesn't need like a trigger in the traditional sense, and then just fucking
very low profile.
Sometimes they have one shot on them reportedly, and
likely you wouldn't even notice it if it was like, well, depending, if somebody could see it, which they probably couldn't because it would be at a high altitude. But like if you'd probably think like this is pretty normal. At an event
there were other drones flying around. Yeah, you have drones at events like this. And it's
anybody that goes to a fireworks show sees drones everywhere, right?
That's another freaking weird thing, because when they first were in the media talking about it, right afterwards, they're like, were there any drones? And they're like, no, we wouldn't allow any drones. And then in like 4 different videos, you see drones. And then later it's like, okay, we did have a drone. It's like, what? Why? Why are you being weird about this? Is this all different distraction tactics? Did they like shoot at him from 2 different places? Did 3 guys fire a blank at the same time?
Also, just from the years and decades of scrutiny that just the JFK assassination got, that you would think that like they would maybe like, let's tighten up the plan a little bit, guys, but fucking no. Like, what?
So well, as long as if they can get you asking the wrong questions, you'll find yourself spinning in circles. So I found the most schizo possible website. It is whoassassinatedcharliekirk.com. And oh my God, look at all these tabs. They got a ton of shit over here.
There are some people who are very invested in this.
Yeah, I'm not. Believe me, I know this is exactly what I would say if I was this invested. But I do not spend a lot of my time thinking about this shit. It was I had a conversation with somebody earlier on this weekend, actually in Germany, and I talked about, I'm like, yeah, I probably think it's when I was like, I don't know who dealt with I was joking because in Charlie Kirk's assassin Tyler Robinson's supposed correspondence with their trans furry lover, they talked about a character from a show called Luna, but they spelled it Luna, and it's like, no, it's Loona. No furry would fuck that up. This is fake. This was written by, this is proof that this is a not real correspondence. And then after I made that joke, they were like, so I think, and then they started talking about stuff in detail. I'm like, oh, you actually care about this? I'm like, yeah, I've been looking at it myself. And I talked about the mic pack, and they said no, they still think it's a bullet. And so now I text them like, hey, guess what? I'm back around to bullet again at this point. This is the one that I do believe, which I think is this thing. The reason I'm at whoassassinatedcharliekirk.com is there are not a lot of sources or websites that have put together like this chart, for instance. So this is talking about where did the drones come from. And this is stuff that is not speculation. It's not like grainy footage or whatever. It's actual. Well, I guess you could freaking fake anything, man. You can hack databases, But maybe it's all a simulation. But it has some of the hardest. It has some of the hardest in like actual evidence that we have that weird shit is going on. The strongest government-linked drone thread in this case attaches N military terms, baby. Here we go. N1098L, a U.S. Army Hades ISR jet, which is Bombardier Global 6500. Okay, tracked on ADS-B, making extremely low passes near Utah Valley University on September 10th, 2025. Independent analysis. Then they bring up John Cullen again. So what's all this mean? So we're looking at this chart here. There's basically a spy plane called the Hades. a Hades. It's like a type of aircraft that can do spy shit. And
Right.
there's logged on flight radar, that like ATB-B thing they were talking about. There's logged on flight radar that yes, this vehicle was there, and it was at like a normal altitude for flying as a jet, and then it went way down and slowed down a lot, and then went back up, and then it came by and did the same thing again right over this Utah Valley University, and it's like, why was it doing that? Why? And also, since it's flight data, and if that's, I guess, publicly available and you get it, it's far less contra. You can't be like, nuh-uh. It's like, no, that is actually proof. That's not a grainy, like, we think this speck in the back of this video, if you slow it down, is a drone. Like, this is, no, that plane was there. Yeah. Damn it. So here we go. We got
it's
a table
there.
here breaking it down.
You can't rule it out on like, well, and like as we keep saying, like you really can't rule anything out about anything anymore. It's it's calling things conspiracy theories are just out the door. So
they're saying it has this call sign, Axel 10. It was origin cited was a Briggs Army Airfield. It came from a military base. So we have at 9:16 a.m. a low pass, 203 feet, which I don't know. I'm not a plane expert. That seems really low. And then it went down to 116, I think that's knots, and it says stall speed range, as if it slowed down so much that if it slowed down any more, you would like start losing altitude, meaning it's like why is it doing this weird maneuver? And they're saying that's when it like dropped drones out of the spy plane, and then that drone shoots Charlie Kirk, and from like 600 yards, they're saying some like crazy ass distance, like holy shit, but and you can listen to Mbit Systems explain this in their like marketing videos, which are very creepy, where they're talking about like this drone-mounted rifle, like they're like selling it, so they're making it sound like it's awesome. Uses these other 4 drones to like find a target and like triangulate, and then like boom, so it's extremely accurate
and completely fucking possible. Like
and you can shoot from really far away, and then you put a freaking suppressor or silencer on that, and that's what they're talking about, the acoustic analysis, where they were trying to figure out based on the timing of hearing the shot and trajectories, etc. And this supposedly also explains like the angle, I guess, was weird. Hey, back to JFK shit. The angle of the shot was supposedly weird, and this is like, well, yeah, if it was a drone up here going, like, we're having a good time over here on Charlie Kirk Schizo Island.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not that this even matters. Like whatever, I don't think it achieved whatever ends that it was meant to achieve.
Because they don't talk about it. Yeah, I don't know what it was supposed to do.
And either they thought it was. I think we get this a lot with these higher up people who just like will kind of zone in on somebody and think that they're really fucking important, and they're not. So I think that's what we're really talking about.
I've heard maybe they were grooming him to be a presidential candidate someday.
Oh, sure. But I mean, who isn't at this point, right? Like,
yeah, how many clones do they have like ready to go when the next guy drops it? I mean, apparently not enough, because they keep doing like 80-year-old dudes.
Yeah, yeah. And now we're at the top of the hour here, and I always mention this, or often mention this. I keep the trending topics going while we're talking, sometimes referring to them. And weird stuff usually happens on Tuesdays while we're on the air, and this is no different. So I'm sorry to break the news here to you guys. This isn't really our steez here, but I will mention it. It has just been announced that Dolly Parton has died.
Oh, it's sad.
Yeah, she was 80 years old. Icon to all. I feel like as we're closing,
you're gonna say McConnell.
Right. No, I was. Yeah, no, like not that would even really matter. I think we all kind of know if he's not all the way dead, he's on life support or some shit like that. Because why not just like, yeah. So I hate to be the one to break the news this way, because this is not really something that we do. But like as I follow the topics, I felt relevant to say so, because she has, I mean, on the liberal side of things, but she's been a pretty political figure throughout most of her life. you have that rags to riches story that people really love. She's always been about, that whole, anybody can if I can type of a thing. Super talented person. So it's apologies that I broke the news this way. I'm sorry to any of her fans. I think we all kind of love her in our own way. So it's kind of a sad news thing. But as I follow the topics and it's just come up, I did feel like compelled to mention it. We only have a few more moments left in the show, and we didn't get to one of the biggest things that I did want to talk about, which is what's going on in Gary. And chat just mentioned this.
Eugenics.
And so we're going to take a couple of minutes here to make sure we at least continue to talk about it, because I did mention it last week. Now, if you don't know where Gary is, it is a very famous city, industrial city, steel mill city, Gary, Indiana, far
There's
north.
a song about it in the Music Man.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly right. It's a very famous city. It's always been a very illustrious city. It was sort of a, when you talk about the Black Harlem Renaissance, this is very similar to what Gary was all about, in its whole thing. And there was a time when it was just like a very illustrious city, a very prosperous city. But as the mills went out of the country and all the factories closed, the story there. Now, this is right on the border, very, very close to Chicago. Super, super close. Again, a historically Black city, and it gets a really, really bad rap. And now I live in Indianapolis, which is about 3 hours away. So it's not like I'm there every other day, but I've been there, a good amount of times, right? And every time I've been there, you go there and it's like, yeah, this place has got some rundown spots, but people are making it. People are living. It gets a really bad rap, and it's just a fucking place. Okay. It's not the third circle of hell or some shit like, white people will have you believe. It's just a place. I have been in worse places. I can tell you that. So it's just a place.
Economically having a hard time.
But and also in these like let's say probably the past 20-25 years, they have been working to improve their image, their public image, their quality of life type of a situation. They've been working on, and essentially when I say that, we're talking about a community-based movement, because obviously they're not getting any help in any kind of way, any federal grants to rebuild things, so that is not like it's a community-based movement to sort of uplift and enrich the future generations and create a better image of themselves and that kind of thing. Very commendable thing. Long way to go, because again, they've been disenfranchised. What's that?
I hope they can do the same thing Detroit did, where they had a really hard time. But if you go
there, exactly. They had very similar reputations, very near each other, had similar reputations. Steel mill cities, lost their autonomy when everything went out the window. The tale as old as time in this country, right? So the fact of the matter is it is known for, maybe unlike Detroit, it is specifically known as being historically a Black-centered city. And it's a big city, right? This is also, if you're wondering, this is where the Jacksons came from. 2300 Jackson Street. I've been there. So the thing, a tiny little bitty house. 10 people living in the tiniest house you've ever seen in your life. The thing of it is that in this situation, I mentioned it last week. So in Indiana, there's also a song about this. God made little green apples, and it don't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. Like, that's how the lyric goes. It doesn't rain in Indiana in the summer, hardly at all. We have had the most insane weather here. The whole city of Indianapolis, a lot of it is flooded. The surrounding areas are flooded. And up north, across the north, got it. And I don't mean just regular flooding. I mean like deluge flooding, like literal, like day after day of like intense rain. And it really flooded the fuck out of Gary. Okay. To the point where they have lost their power. And now we're going into the third week of no power restoration. And that's just not like, oh, there's a city without power. Okay, whatever, shrug your shoulders. This is now becoming a national story for the fact that that means there's no food supply coming in or out. That means there's no medicine. You've got to be able to refrigerate insulin and other medications. That's fucking up. Like, you can't run respirators. You can't run dialysis machines under these conditions. People's houses are completely flooded out, and no one is like, there's no way to get, no state help is coming. No federal help is coming. And then you have Indiana, the state of, who is headed up by a widely unpopular governor, Mike Braun. Everybody hates this guy. Everybody hates this guy. This guy is like he and his lieutenant governor are like the most hated people. Like this state has been like just if you look at a map of like who's been the most conducive to having AI data centers brought into the state, Indiana beats them by a mile. It's been absolutely insane what's been happening, even for Indiana standards. Okay, so at the same time, you got this dickhead like sitting there saying we're sitting on a gigantic money surplus. We're sitting on a huge surplus. Well, that money came from ripping off people on Medicaid, Medicare, disabled people, poor people, taking away all their benefits. There's no like school lunch, guarantees in the summer anymore or anything like that. They took away all the food programs. They've taken away every single possible thing that could possibly give people. And they just did a thing here recently where they started only doing Medicaid approvals every 6 months instead of what had been every 2 years, and then every year, and then it turned into every 6 months, which was designed to throw people off of the system. And people have fucking died because of it. And then he's going, we got a surplus. Meanwhile, they have sent absolutely no help to Gary whatsoever. We know that FEMA doesn't exist anymore, and there's been no national help in any kind of a way sent to help. So we've got a community trying to bail itself out of a gigantic fucking crisis. And then the governor comes out and says something to the degree of, we will go up there when they restore law and order. What the fuck are you talking about? You stupid motherfucker. So this is like this needs to be a much bigger story, because this is, again, historically black city with a horrible reputation mostly among white people, this is an open air eugenics movement. They are intentionally trying. The state of Indiana and the federal government together in tandem, knowing this, are trying to wipe out black residents in the city of Gary, Indiana. It is not an exaggeration. It is not a conspiracy theory. It's happening right fucking now. It's happening. So, when I brought it up last week, there wasn't like a whole lot of information more than that. Now it's very clear what the agenda is and what's going on. So it is important for us to mention it and let it be known that is, what's happening. And at the same time, it is also a city that's magically surrounded by data centers and filled with data centers, because they always put them in like the worst, like most disadvantaged areas, because they think people cannot argue with it. Data centers got power. They're doing fine. So their infrastructure is completely fucking trashed. There's no one out there restoring it at a rate. I mean, you say, what about the power companies? Yeah, they're doing it like lacklusterly, haphazardly, lackadaisically. Like they're kind of getting to it as they're getting to it, because they're not fucking worried about it. Like, oh, we're so worried about people not paying their bills or whatever, or people being poor. We're really, really worried about this poor area. Meanwhile, in contrast, let me tell you about Hamilton County. Hamilton County is a county where Indianapolis is in partial. It's central Indiana, but it's north of Marion County. That is the richest place in the state. Okay, you have towns there called Carmel. All right, and they have schools there that are the size of fucking colleges in city states. So guess what? They had a single bridge, wash out due to these floods. They had the fucking National Guard there like 2 days later rebuilding this one fucking bridge in Carmel. So that's to let you know exactly what is going on here is exactly what's intended. It is the point. It is the idea. They are servicing people who don't fucking need it. And they are intentionally and willfully leading a eugenics movement, because people are actually fucking dying. People are getting sick. They're getting sick from the floodwaters. They're getting sick from mosquito illnesses. They're getting sick from there's no food. Like it's literally like it is like a gigantic crisis that people are not talking about in the way that they should be at that point. So I wanted to make that point. Did you have anything you'd like to add here? It's a good
point to make.
Yeah, it's somewhere. Again, I've been a few times. It gets a bad rap, but it is there are lots of other places just like it in this country. So if you think that you're safe or your area is safe, unless you live in Carmel, you're not. You're very much not. we are. Yeah,
I mean, you've seen that the state is its current form is like not responsive to the needs of its citizens, and like
yes.
in so many ways that it's insane, and it kind of becomes like a wonder that things have held together as long as they are. But
Yeah, things are
don't
very
change
much
until they
falling
have
apart
to.
in this state. So
We only have things that like revolution in its like literal form of just like the turning around. Like things don't like flip over until it's like out of necessity. We have yet to. There've been very few. That's why the French Revolution and actually the American one were treated as such like historical things, where it's for the first time it's like people consciously going like, look, it's time to fucking like we are sick of, in this case, the aristocracy, and we're gonna overthrow them, and now the shopkeepers and merchants, the bourgeois, will become the new ruling class. And now we're at like, we will no longer tolerate the bourgeois and ruling class.
yeah,
We
right.
will now be too, but that shit doesn't happen until it must, and
And that's
no one can know
another
the exact.
potential inflection point, because let Gary be a lesson to you. This is in progress, right? This hasn't it's not, we're not talking past tense, it's in present tense here. If it can happen there, it can happen anywhere, and it will, because these weather disasters are going to continue to happen, and things like this are going to get wildfires, what have you.
Just get like abandoned by the state.
Yeah, and we'll look at Altadena, like it happened. That was also another, I think it was Altadena. It was another, when wildfires in California went through in the last round a couple years ago.
The Hawaii place
Yeah,
that burned down.
again, and those were, well, the one in California was a historically black area,
The
and then
Palisades fires.
and the ones in Hawaii obviously are like mostly like indigenous derived and poor communities. And in every case, we're talking about very very profitable land values, and Gary is waterfront, like it's a very big location, being so, a satellite city to Chicago. So there are a lot of people at the top, developers, real estate people, ownership class, the Epstein class, who is not just like, haha, let's kill them and then we'll have a utopia because haha, no more black people. No, it's haha, no more black people. Plus also we get their land to develop.
It's just moving people out.
And it's like when the Olympics comes to town and they just ship all the poor people off and bulldoze their shit. This is only, these weather disasters are of great benefit to the ownership and Epstein class of people. And we are seeing that in real time. And I wish that I could say, and then something good. No, I don't have that information. Hopefully by next week, there will be something more to report, but you can literally go on TikTok or maybe like YouTube lives or things like this, Facebook lives, and you can see people like literally they're just milling around like zombies. Like there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do, they're trying to support themselves, but like with what resources, so it's an absolute fucking disaster that's happening right now. So and let it be a lesson to you, because it will happen, to you, or your neighborhood or somewhere close. It's going to happen. And there's also it's to expand on that more, other than outside of Hamilton County, there are other places that are underwater as well, who are not receiving any kind of any kind of state help or any kind of anything like that, other than other people. They've had reports of people saying like, oh well, just my neighbor in his canoe she rolled up and is like helping out, like trying to remove people from their houses or flooded houses and shit like that. So it's a motherfucker, guys. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you. Thanks for being active in the chat. We can't always get to all of your comments, but we do appreciate your being there. We have you for a couple more weeks before your next trip.
Jeepers, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm here on Tuesday, I think, for this week, next week, and then I think the third one is when I head over to Moscow. But you got me for at least a couple.
Are you going to be in the Russia trip's 2 weeks, right? Is a Russia trip 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not this coming Tuesday, but the one after that. Was
right,
the September 12th or something, I think, is the Tuesday I'll miss.
Yeah.
But then I'll come back with reports.
Stories. Yeah, and we'll do.
Spoiler, it's probably going to be kind of normal.
Yeah, right. We were able to do, it was really cool. We were able to do a 2-part situation, like show on review of his trip to China, which you can check in our archives, as well as all of our past episodes on our YouTube and Rumble channels. And if you want to check out that, you can, and we'll do that again when he comes back,
you'll
unless
see
there's
my
like
Russia
literally
vacation
nothing to say. But he'll at least have some cool pictures, and we'll get to kind of just hear about what's going on in Russia in real time, just like we did with China. So big thanks to our mayor for being the diplomat that he is, and the world traveler that goes on and puts boots on the ground in these places to give us this perspective and bring it back to share it with all of us, despite what you're hearing in the media and all over things. So so thanks to him, and thanks to you, and try and stay sane this week. I hope that you have a good week and everything works out in your favor. Everything is possible, cousins. Open that door. We will see you next week, and take care. Have a good one, and I don't know. I forgot. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot it. So we're just gonna go. So bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.